Good evening. If you feel like you've already heard the keynote address, I think you have. Her talking was inspired. And I trust that her words and her wisdom will take seed and grow. It's a pleasure to be here with you. When I was asked to come and be part of the program, I didn't hesitate. And then when I learned that it would be held here in the Ohio Theater, I was especially excited because I've been in this auditorium probably a dozen times over the last 20 years, but I've never been up here. I've always been out there. In fact, my favorite story concerning this auditorium involved a concert that I saw probably about 20 years ago with Miles Davis, who was here part of the Tri-C Jazz Festival. And of course he was brilliant, but it irked me to no end that he performed his entire show with his backside in our face. He wouldn't look at us. But now as I look out at you, I think I understand why. You can't see anything. You're blinded. You barely see the front row. But nonetheless, it's a pleasure to be here with you. I'll make my remarks brief. Roughly 10 days from now, the most famous man in Cleveland, probably the most famous man in Ohio, will make a career-defining decision. He will make a decision to stay home, a choice that will make a city stand to its feet and wildly cheer. Or in the inverse, this famous man will make a decision to pack his bags and take his traveling roadshow to another city. That choice would leave a city considerably disappointed. The man I'm speaking of course, is LeBron James. Not since John D. Rockefeller called Cleveland home has one man's career and career choices been so closely scrutinized, analyzed, and publicly commented upon than the upcoming decision that Mr. James will soon be forced to make concerning free agency. Like most other people, I'm closely watching and anticipating LeBron's decision. I am a fan of the Cavaliers because I'm a fan of anything that puts Cleveland in a good light. Therefore, I'm hoping with crossed fingers that LeBron decides to stay. He has unfinished business in this town. The city of Cleveland is long overdue a sports championship, with all respect to our spelling bee champion. He certainly brought us a lot of pride recently. There is, however, a far more important question on my mind this evening than the question concerning the decision that number 23 will make next week. And that question concerns you, each of you sitting in the Ohio Theater this evening to be honored for your tremendous success to this point. The critical question is this: is this your beginning or is it your end? Is this the career highlight or is it just the start? Have you peaked at the age of 17? I already know the answer to those rhetorical questions. That's silly. I know I'm surrounded by greatness in this auditorium. I can feel it. But the essential question remains: what will each of you do to exploit the greatness that is within your reach? How will each of you make use of your talents to make this world a kinder, a friendlier, a safer, a more prosperous, a more livable place? Are you up for the challenge of greatness? Are you willing to set about to quickly determine your own definition of what constitutes success, then work unceasingly, untiringly to achieve it? That critical decision will deeply affect not only you and your family, but an entire community. 20 years from now, common theme here tonight, when most of you are in your late 30s, looking more and more like your parents, and suddenly worried about how you will pay for your kids' college tuition, this critical question will continue to confront each of you. Have I become an agent of change and advancement? Have I tapped into my greatness? I once heard a rabbi's story about the genesis of greatness that I think is worth sharing. It's a story that speaks to the notion that we are all born with the potential for success beyond our wildest dreams. But too many of us fall short of our greatness because we fail to rediscover the greatness that lies within us from birth. Please notice that I said rediscover. According to the rabbi's homily, we are accompanied by a guardian angel even while we are in our mother's womb. The angel is placed next to the gestating child not only to protect her and help her grow, but also to prepare her for her entry into the world. The angel, according to the rabbi, talks softly to the developing child, sings to her, and tells her of the great things in store for her once she emerges into this realm of life. The guardian angel tells her of the great things she will accomplish, the lives that she will change, the discoveries she will achieve, the beautiful music she will create, the miracles she will perform. The angel assures her that greatness is already encoded into her DNA, that greatness is just as real as her heartbeat. Finally, just before she is delivered from her mother's body, the guardian angel instructs her never to forget the greatness that lies within her. Rediscover it on the other side, he commands her. But at some point during the birth process, at some point in a chaotic entry into this world, the grand designs for greatness are pushed into a deep recess of the child's heart or mind. It is seemingly lost. The infant naturally becomes preoccupied with discovering food and exploring its body. The young child becomes preoccupied with discovering language and exploring his or her immediate environment. The pubescent child becomes preoccupied with understanding her evolving independence. And adolescents, as most of you guys know, become preoccupied with self-identity, wearing your pants on the ground, challenging authority, and proving that you're smarter than at least one of your parents and roughly 80% of your teachers. All of that is natural, expected, and mostly good. But what separates the true winners in life from the pedestrians in life are those young people your age, who decide now to embrace their greatness and formulate a plan to achieve it. For perspective, consider this. 10 years ago, no one outside of Chicago knew who Barack Obama was. No one knew who he was because in the year 2000, the year most of you were being promoted to the third grade, Barack Obama was a failed congressional candidate who had little more going for him than an ambitious wife, a good education, and an out-of-this-world dream. Now fast forward 10 years. President Obama is now the most powerful, most famous man on the planet. And that didn't happen by accident. Sure, there was certainly a lot of luck involved. Timing is everything. But at the end of the day, he embraced his greatness. He defined his vision of success, and he achieved his dream. That's how it always works. Whether your name is Obama, Gates, James, or J.K. Rowling.